thought we were doing this at 1. The Spanish cases at 1. That would be an interpreter. That's I got lucky.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Laura Bretaña, Spanish interpreter. The interpreter has already been sworn.
Good morning. This is Judge Bain calling from the BRC. I have a defendant with the headsets on in my courtroom. Can you see if you can make a connection?
There is contact, Your Honor.
All right. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
José Antonio Calderón Dubón. José Antonio Calderón Dubón.
All right. You got to face the microphone. Cover your face.
José Antonio Calderón Dubón.
All right. Now cover your face. All the way, your nose and everything. Pull your mask up. All right. Sir, you're here in 2021 CF 3464AO on charges of aggravated assault, domestic violence, battery, domestic violence, false imprisonment, domestic violence, battery, domestic violence by strangulation, and resisting an officer without violence. Court to review the charging affidavit in this case. Although brief did find probable cause for your arrest. Going to set your bond in count 1 in amount of $2,000, count 2 in amount of $500, count 3 in amount of $1,000, count 4 in amount of $1,000, and count 5 in amount of $250. Condition of your bond is you have no contact with the victim in this case. You need to maintain a separate residence from the victim. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at the location. You must not possess any you must not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. Do you have any questions about the no contact order, sir?
¿Cuánto sería en total lo que tenemos que pagar entonces de fianza?
Which should be the total amount I would have to pay regarding bond?
$47.50.
Yep. It was $4,275. Sorry, $4,750. You can work with a bondsman to bond you out if you cannot afford it.
Sí, tendría que hablar yo con él.
Would I have to talk to him?
Well, you have to, if you can bond yourself out, bond yourself out. If you can't bond yourself out, you probably have to work with a bonds person. I'm going to appoint a public defender to represent you if you have any issues getting that done. But you need to answer my question is whether you have any questions about the no contact order that I'm putting in place, which is a written document in front of you. No, the white document that says no contact on it.
Pero ¿Qué decía?
What does it says?
Do you read and understand the Spanish language?
La víctima no se permitirá solicitar esta orden.
Your Honor, he's reading the document out loud.
All right. It says what it
Dice que
says.
la víctima no se podrá permitir solicitar que retire esta orden judicial. Dice que la víctima le permitiría poder solicitar que se retire esta orden judicial.
It says here that the victim is allowed to request that this order be eliminated.
You have to talk to Mr. Judge Wayne Shoemaker about that. But before that happens, do not have any contact with the victim. If you violate anything outlined in the order that you're reading right now, you will be arrested. And you will be spending a lot of time here with me at the Orange County Jail.
Okay.
All right, so have a great day, sir.
Ok, oh, permítame, pero lo de la fianza, ¿cuándo se puede hacer ya?
Okay, but then when will I be able to do the bond thing?
You can bond out as soon as you leave here. You gotta sign the order, acknowledging that you read it, which you just did. You just read it out loud, basically in court, and then you can go bond out. Just don't violate my orders.
Ok.
Okay.
That was it. That was the only Spanish case, right? We have more? One more? I don't think, yeah, not that one. There's another domestic violence case with a Dole Fist and a Franklin. They're co-defendants. I don't know what this is. All right, that's fine. All right, good morning, sir. Sorry, sir. Good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Daniel Alvarado Mueller.
Daniel Alvarado Mueller.
Mr. Mueller, you're here in 2021 MM2038 AO on a charge of battery domestic violence. The court did review the charging affidavit in this case. I did find probable cause for your arrest.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question, though. I didn't have a chance to look this up. Was this the same victim in this previous domestic violence case? Or 2018 CF 4442? Different, okay.
No, no la misma.
All right, sir. I'm going to set your bond in this case in an amount of $1,000. It's going to come with pretrial release supervision, that you have no contact with the victim in this case, that you maintain a separate residence from the victim. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at the location. You are to possess no weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You have any questions about the no contact order, sir?
No, solamente pago la fianza y ya.
No, then I will only have to pay the bond, and that's it.
Well, you're gonna be on bond and you're gonna be supervised by pretrial release supervision. So you're gonna have bond and pretrial release. So you need to abide by all their conditions. And my conditions of having no contact with the victim. You understand that?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, have a great day, sir.
Gracias.
All right. Thank you, Madam Interpreter. Have a great day.
Thank you, Your Honor. You as well.
All right, sir, can you tell me your name?
Boris Maurice Ankrum.
All right. Mr. Anacum, you were here this morning because I gave the state some time to get some more additional information as to the charge of introduction of contraband into the detention facility.
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor, we just asked for an ROR on that.
Right. So the court's now continues finding of no probable cause as to that charge, and we're going to release you on reconnaissance as to that particular charge. All the rest of the orders and bonds that remain as set. All right. Have a great day, sir.
Say one thing, sir.
Yeah, well, you talk to Ms. George for a second. If you have a question, you need to ask me, and then. Why was Mr. Brown brought back? The next person, Mr. Brown. He's on probation in 2010 case? He's on parole? Okay. All right, sir, can you tell me your name?
Listed Senior Brown.
Mr. Brown, you are here because I was informed yesterday that you were on probation for 2010 CF 4331 AO. And I thought that's what I read on the DOC website when I looked you up. But they're informing me now that you're actually on parole. You're on parole from the Department of Corrections?
I'm just on conditional release.
Yeah, conditional release, same thing. All right, so I'm not going to withdraw my order, placing him on no bond status as to that. Because he's now, I have to wait for the department to file a warrant for your arrest as to your conditional release violation. All right, so you can bond out, but you may get picked back up pretty quickly. All right, have a great day, sir.
Jesse Jean Dorn, sir.
All right. Mr. Doran, you're here in two matters. The first one is 2021 CF 3234 AO on a charge of grand theft motor vehicle. You're also here in 2021 CF 3235 AO on a charge of possession of cocaine and resisting officer without violence. I did review both charging affidavits. I did find probable cause for your arrest. Going to stay your bond in the grand theft charge, amount of $1,000, conditional your bond that you do not have any contact with any victims or witnesses in that case. As to your 2021 CF 3235 AO case, court is going to set your bond in count one, amount of $500, and in count two, an amount of $250, conditional that bond that you not possess any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I want to appoint a public defender to represent you in both cases. Have a great day, sir.
I was just going to ask that I would be able to make bond if I could have the I understand the 1,000 on the Grand Theft Auto, sir.
Yeah.
And then I basically have $200 for bond. So if it would have stayed the same, and then I could have got like pretrial release on the resisting, or maybe like on ROR on the resisting without violence or something, I could post bond, sir.
So your total bonds are under $2,000.
Is how much?
Your total bonds are under $2,000. $1,000 for one case, $500 for the cocaine, $250 for the resisting.
So
So that covers your 10%.
it's like 300 something.
How's that 300 and something, sir? That's, oh, for a case?
Yeah, anything under 1,000 is automatic $100
Yeah. That's,
with the bondsman, sir.
based on your history and based on the fact that you have some out-of-county stuff going on, I don't feel comfortable reducing it further than that.
I can
But-
post bond with that. I can say what that is.
Yeah, I don't want you to talk about your cases. You need to cover your face first. I don't want you to talk about your cases because even though you don't think that, so you may have come across a prosecutor like I was when I was a prosecutor. I researched everything. I pulled all the things that my defendant said everywhere in the state. So
Absolutely.
don't talk about your case. If you want to get in front of a division judge and see if you can get the reduction even further, I'm appointing a public defender to represent you, and you can get out there and see if the judge in that division is willing to reduce your bond even further, all right? All right, have a great day, sir. All right. Can you tell me your name, sir? Your name? I can't hear you.
Jamie O'Neill Matthews.
Oh, I'm trying to get to, is it Matthews? Yeah, this is Mr. Matthews. I'm in the right spot. Okay. All right, Mr. Matthews, you're here in two matters. The first one is 2020 CF 5707 AO for a failure to appear warrant. The judge in that case set your bond in amount of $0. Your bond's going to remain at $0. I'm going to appoint a public defender to represent you in that case. You're also here in 2021 MM 2047 AO on charge of domestic violence battery. I did review the charging affidavit in that case. I did find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to set your bond in that case in an amount of $1,000. Condition of your bond is that you not have any contact with the victim, that you maintain a separate residence from that victim. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. The weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You're out on bond in 2020 CT 88000AW. And in that case, the court's going to revoke that bond. I'm going to set a new bond at $0 in that case. But I'm appointing the public defender to represent you in all your cases. Have a great day, sir. All right. Oh, no, maybe not. All righty. Can you tell me your name, ma'am?
Atiana Dolphin.
Oh, to the left, what's on point?
Kia Capers.
All right, Ms. Capers. And who is this to my right?
My sister.
All right. And what's your name, ma'am?
Atiana Dolphin.
Office. 1 second. Now I have a third person, right? Involved in the same case. I don't know if you have room for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought, so I was like, I was a little confused. I was like, I'm missing somebody. Can we? Or I want you guys feel comfortable with?
No, we're fine.
No, I'm talking to my corrections officers. There's only space for 2 of you on this podium. If I get a third person up there, they may not be okay with that. Hold on. All right. For court reporting, I got 3 cases I'm about to address. All right, Ms. Capers, you are here in 2021 MM2027AO on charge of battery domestic violence. Ms. Dolphus, am I saying that right? You are here also in 2021 MM2029AO on charge of battery domestic violence. And Ms. Franklin, at the end, Ms. Franklin, you are here in 2021 MM2028AO on a charge of battery domestic violence. I reviewed the charging affidavit, which encompasses all 3 of your cases, and I did find probable cause for your arrest in these 3 cases. Ms. Capers, can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? And you put your hand down. All right, can you tell me how you know Ms. Dolphus and then Ms. Franklin?
Miss Dolphin is my sister, and Miss Franklin is my aunt.
All right. And do you want to have contact with them?
I don't have contact with them.
Do you want to have contact with them in the course of this case?
My sister, yeah.
But not your, you said Ms. Franklin's your mom, right?
No, my aunt.
Your aunt, I'm sorry, but not your aunt, I'm sorry. All right, so you want to have contact with your sister, but not your aunt? All right, are you afraid of your aunt? Has anything like this happened in the past amongst you 3? Did drugs or alcohol play a role during the incident that you all participated in?
No, sir.
All right. All right, Ms. Dolphus, can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, can you tell me how you know Ms. Capers and then Ms. Franklin?
Miss Capers is my sister, and Franklin is my aunt.
All right. Do you want to have contact with these 2 individuals during the course of this case? All right. Are you afraid of either one of them? All right. All right, Ms. Franklin, can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, put your hand down.
Yes. Yes.
All right, and then Ms. Capers and Ms. Dorfus are your niece?
My nieces.
All right. And do you want to have contact with these 2?
Not at this point.
No?
No.
All right. Are you afraid of them?
No.
All right. And has anything like this happened in the past?
Never.
All right. Did drugs or alcohol play a role in this incident?
No.
All right, State, do you have any questions for the witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
And Ms. George?
No, Your Honor.
All right. It's the easiest way to do this. All right, I'll start with Ms. Franklin, 2021 MM 2028AO. Ma'am, I'm going to set your bond in this case amount of $250. It's going to come with pretrial release supervision. Since you don't want to have contact with them, I order that you have no contact with Ms. Dorfus and Ms. Capers. That you all maintain separate residences. You all live together, correct?
They both were living with me and my mom prior to just this incident on
Okay.
Monday. They stayed with us.
All right. So I'm going to order that you guys maintain separate residences from each other. Order that you're not possessing weapons or firearms, and weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. Since it's your home, Ms. Franklin, you can go home. Ms. Dorfus, I did find a probable cause for your arrest in 2021 MM 2029AO. I'm going to set your bond in this case amount of $250. It's going to come with pretrial release supervision. That you have no contact with Ms. Franklin. That you have no hostile contact with Ms. Capers. No hostile contact means this. You're allowed to argue with your sister. You're allowed to have disagreements with her. Those disagreements cannot turn violent. They cannot turn threatening. If your sister feels like she needs to call law enforcement, or somebody that sees or hears you all arguing is going to call law enforcement, you're going to be arrested for a violation of my court order. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Not allowed to possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You need to maintain a separate residence from Ms. Franklin. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at her home. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Capers, court already found a probable cause in 2021 MM 2027AO. I'm going to set your bond in count one in the amount of $250. It's going to come with pretrial release supervision. That you have no contact with Ms. Franklin. That you maintain a separate residence from Ms. Franklin. You give a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at the location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms, yes, ma'am.
Ms. Franklin is not her victim.
Oh, sorry. Just make this easier. That's why I named them, so it'd be easier. So Ms. Franklin's not gonna have any contact with anybody, and nobody's gonna have contact with her. That way, she's also a witness in this case, which is also a problem, so.
Do you need to address her victim?
Yeah, so her victim is the sister, right? Another sister.
Another.
Yeah, another sister. Yeah, another sister. Yeah. So I'm gonna get to her in a second. So I thought it was a third person that wasn't arrested in this situation. All right, so Ms. Capers, no contact with Ms. Franklin, no hostile contact with Ms. Dorfus, all right? And then no contact with the victim that's in your case, which is I believe, somebody can help me out with the last name, see the first name. Is it Alexis? That's what it is? All right. So no contact with her. Need to maintain separate residence from the victim and Ms. Franklin. I give a one-time return to Ms. Franklin's residence to retrieve any personal items you have at the location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. All right. Does everybody understand what's going on? All right. Is everybody gonna be able to abide by my orders? If you don't abide by my orders, then you have to stay here with me because I can't trust you. You understand? All right. Have a great day. All right, can you tell me your name, sir?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Can you tell me your name?
Jerome Hills.
Mr. Hill, good morning. You are here in 2021 MM2042AO on a charge of battery domestic violence.
Yes,
I did review the charging affidavit. In this case, I did find probable cause for your arrest.
Yes, sir.
Hold on. Don't talk about your case. We're going to set your bond in this case in an amount of $3,000. Condition of your bond is you have no contact with the victim in this case.
But what
You
about,
need to maintain a separate residence from the victim. You get no return with law enforcement. You get one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at the location. You may not possess any drugs or alcohol during the course of this case. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. I want to appoint a public defender to represent you. I had to speak with Mr. George first if you have a question, because everything you tell me is on the record.
what
One
about
second.
pretrial, sir?
Sir,
Pretrial release?
your history includes, other than the last uttering of a forged check, you have a burglary with a battery therein. You have an assault on law enforcement, another battery on law enforcement, battery, felony battery, robbery. You've had 3 DV arrests involving the same victim and other arrests that are very concerning to the court as far as the safety of this court. So no pretrial release, and you don't qualify because of the charge you're facing.
He was under the impression that he did, Your Honor, and I think that's what the confusion was. He does not qualify for pretrial release.
So what my bond is?
$3,000?
$3,000?
Yes, sir. No return. No maintain separate residence, no contact. You got any questions about the no contact order? You have any questions about the no contact order, Mr. Hill?
Oh, man, I'm good, man. Thought they were gonna let me on pretrial release.
All right, out of the way. All right, good morning, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Jose Maldonado.
Mr. Maldonado, you're here in 2021 MM2043AO on a charge of battery domestic violence. The court did review the charging affidavit. In this case, I did find probable cause for your arrest. These 2 prior DV arrests, are they involving the same victim?
One second, Your Honor. The 07 was on Miss Chavez Baraja. And the 2012 was on Miss Rivera and Mr. Pacheco.
All right. All right, sir, I'm going to set your, say again?
Arrest from 2018 was the same thing.
2018 was the same victim.
He also has a non-arrest from 2020 of a battery DV, and that one was on Miss Hepburn.
All right. All right, sir, I'm going to set your bond in this case amount of $1,000. It's going to come with pretrial release supervision, that you have no contact with the victim in this case, that you maintain a separate residence from the victim. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at the location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be returned to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. Do you have any questions about the no contact order, sir?
No, I don't, sir.
All right. Please abide by my orders, and have a great day.
This was a PTR and bond, correct? Your
Yes,
Honor?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, Marcus.
Can you tell me your name, sir?
Marcus Mathis.
Mr. Mathis, you're here in 2021 MM2056AO on a charge of battery domestic violence. The court did review the charging affidavit. In this case, I did find probable cause for your arrest. I'm going to set your bond in this case an amount of $750. Condition of your bond is that you have no contact with the victim, that you maintain a separate residence from the victim. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at the location. You may not possess any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You will be subject to random drug and alcohol testing at your expense. I'll give you 30 days before the first narcotics test happens, but alcohol testing will resume immediately. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Have a great day, sir. Can you tell me your name, ma'am?
Misty Woods.
Ms. Woods, you're here in 2021 MM61AE on a charge of battery. I did review the charging affidavit in this case, and I did find probable cause for your arrest. And can somebody tell me about this 2019 conviction and the prior DV battery?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm having a hard time hearing.
Well, I'm talking to the state of Florida and pretrial release. I'm trying to get some understanding of your history so I can set proper release conditions.
The 19 battery, Your Honor, was Miss Hyatt. She also has a 18 misdemeanor domestic, and that was Mr. Hyatt Frederick. And then an 03 DV, that was Mr. Parker.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to set your bond in this case in amount of $1,000. It's going to come from pretrial release supervision. That you have no contact with the victim in this case, that you maintain a separate residence from the victim. I'll give you a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at the location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. Do you have any questions about the no contact order, ma'am?
Absolutely. I maintain the residence. I pay all the bills there. I also work from home, so I have about $10,000 worth of equipment there. Everything in the whole entire home is mine.
Okay.
So at that point, where am I supposed to go? You know, I work from
Well,
home.
either somebody's going to have to go, either Mr. Hyatt or yourself.
So
You guys can't live together right now.
He can move out, not me.
Yep, so you guys need to maintain a separate residence, but you need, my question is, do you have any questions about the no contact order?
No, I don't have any questions about that.
Okay, I want to appoint the public defender to represent you. If you have any modifications need to happen, you need to get in front of Judge Wayne Shoemaker about that. All right, I have Benjamin bonded. Got next, John. Yep, Benjamin bonded, you got Jones next. All right, and then we're back to Martin. Well, we're gonna do arraignments, so we got Martin.
And
We only got one arraignment. All right, well, we only got Walker, there's only one arraignment I have on my, up here. This Madam Clerk is hiding something from me up here.
We're gonna waive and enter, plea not guilty.
All right, that's 2021 MM 1091 AO. The Public Defender's Office waives Mr. Walker's arraignment. We're gonna set him for pretrial conference in Division 63.
Pre-trial conference date will be April 8th at 1 p.m., courtroom 12C.
All right, we'll be in a short recess until we can grab Mr. Martin and Mr. Terry. All right, back on the record. Sir, can you tell me your name?
Brennan Douglas Martin.
Mr. Martin, you are here in 2021 MM2052AO on a charge of battery, domestic violence. I did review and criminal mischief. I did review the charging affidavit in your case. I did find probable cause for your arrest. I'm sorry. You're here in 2021 MM2052AO on charge of battery, domestic violence. You're here in 2021 MM2053AO on charge of criminal mischief. Cover your nose. There you go. I reviewed both charging affidavits. I did find probable cause for your arrest as to both charges. A second.
I'm not going to be going back to that same address.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm trying to figure out pretrial. He seems to be here now. He has some out of state stuff, but is there a reason why he didn't qualify that I'm not seeing? Yeah. So he has. Okay, because it's an address issue, not. I mean, where is grandmother? I'm guessing. I was saying, is she here in Orlando?
My grandma's in Englewood, Florida, and I'm currently attending UTI school online, so that's what I would be going down there to do with my laptop.
All right, I guess grandma said you can't go to her house.
Okay.
So that's what information she gave pretrial release.
Okay, then I'll rent it. I have an Airbnb. I think she was just confused about the whole incident, so it was pretty intense.
All right. All right, sir. I don't do this. I don't want you to get kicked back because you don't qualify for pretrial release because they can't verify some of the things. So I want to stay your bonds, and I want to set your bond in the domestic violence case in the amount of $500, and your other case is going to stay your bond in the amount of $500. Both cases are going to come with the same conditions, that you have no contact with the victim in this case. You maintain a separate residence from the victim. You get a one-time return with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items you have at the location. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Any weapons or firearms you have need to be turned over to law enforcement within 24 hours of your release. You have any questions about the no contact order, Mr. Martin?
Yes. Yes.
Do you have any questions about the no contact order?
No, I do not.
All right. Have a great day, sir. Well, I got a point of public defender to represent him. Thank you. Hello, sir. Can you tell me your name?
Terry Senior.
All right, Mr. Terry, you're here in 2021 MM120AA on charge of battery, domestic violence. The court did review the charging affidavit. In this case, I did find probable cause for your arrest. I have a witness in the witness booth. Ma'am, can you tell me your name?
Amanda Kleinsmith.
Can you raise your right hand and be sworn in? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, none but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Can you tell me how you know Mr. Terry?
We're engaged.
All right. And are you afraid of him?
I am not.
You want to have contact with him?
Yes, I do.
Has
We
anything
came
like this-
together. I would like to
Hold on,
leave
hold on.
together.
Has anything like this happened in the past?
No, sir.
Did drugs or alcohol play a role during this incident?
I think alcohol did.
And if something like this were to happen again, would you feel comfortable contacting law enforcement?
Yes, I would.
And are you aware of his previous criminal history?
Yes, I am.
State, do you have any questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
And Ms. George?
No, Your Honor.
All right. All right, Ms. Terry, I'm gonna set your bond in the amount of $1,500, conditioning your bond that you have no hostile contact with the victim in this case. So listen to me carefully. No hostile contact means this. You all allowed to have disagreements. She can fuss at you about leaving the toilet seat up, not cleaning up after you yourself, or anything like that. Those are normal arguments to have with a spouse or somebody that you're in an intimate relationship with. Those arguments cannot turn violent. They cannot turn threatening. They cannot come to the point where either somebody sees or hears you all arguing is going to call law enforcement, or the way where the victim feels threatened enough to call law enforcement. Because if that happens, you will be arrested. You will be spending a lot of time here with me at the Orange County Jail. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. Can I ask for help?
But I'm going to appoint a public defender to represent you when I talk to Ms. George, because everything you asked me is on the record.
Your Honor, he's asking about resources for alcohol abuse. I don't know where he would go. I don't know if there's any that pretrial services has that would help him or.
Not right now. Social services. Pretty much every large church has an AA or road to recovery program that you enter if you really are serious about trying to make a change. My last condition is that you not possess any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You understand that?
Yes, sir. I just want to get better. I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, it's okay when a lot of people come here, and I've seen a lot of people stand in front of judges telling them that, they want to make a change, but then they go, when they leave here, the main thing that usually happens is they go back to the same places they used to hang out with. They hang out with the same people they used to hang out with. And then they get trapped in the same system, in the same cycle that they repeat the same cycle. So sometimes you have to break away from some of those people, some of those, triggers and things like that cause you to drink or use narcotics. You got to break away from them. You got to stay away from them. And if people call you and try to make you feel guilty and all this kind of stuff like that, you're doing something to them, but it's not about them, it's about you. So you got to if you want to make a change, there are a lot of people out there in the community that will be able to help you.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, everybody have a great day.
So the only conditions were the no hostile and the no drugs?
Yep, and no weapons, no firearms. Any weapons or firearms has to turn on law enforcement within 24 hours of his release.
All right, thank you.
All right. I was approached yesterday, let me get a scan, about a gentleman that had been arrested under the name Jarkarian DeMarcus Dunn in a few matters, 2021 MM 42AE and 2021 CT 4246AE.
Okay.
And I believe, 2021 CT 4245AE. I think you may have an out-of-county warrant as well from Lake or Brevard County. Yeah, he had a couple of things going on. He told me when I saw him on March 2nd that his name was Clayton, Dominique Clayton was his name. And I guess that's the name that he's going by, but was arrested under the wrong name. But that's something for the state of Florida to fix and for him to talk to the FBI about in correcting that issue. All right, does anybody have anything else this morning?
Is this the case that he was going to go to DOC?
No, he's not going to DOC, not that I'm aware of. He bonded out, and he's not even here. He's still here on the out-of-county case?
Still here on the Orange County case.
On the Orange County case, okay. Because I thought he had bonded out. All right, he's still on the Orange County case. All right, does he have anything else before we go into recess?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right.
All right, we are back on the record. It's 11:20 a.m. on March 25th, 2021. Please, counsel, please put your appearance on the record.
Taylor May on behalf of the Office of the State Attorney.
Letitia George on behalf of the Office of the Public Defender.
Are we ready?
We have Hayden Stephen, his behavior.
Wait, I don't have him first. Okay, I just found him. He's 21 MM2033AO, trespass on property after warning. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him.
Your Honor, we'll waive. I do believe there may be some sort of mental health issues here. I'm not quite sure. But we would just ask that you set a bond on his case. I'm not sure what's going on with him.
What says the state?
Your Honor, there's previously no incompetent to proceed orders in his file. We would just ask for a reasonable bond.
All right, his bond will be $250. He's not allowed to return to 7-Eleven. Ms. George, based on what you just said to the court, at this time, I'll not revoke his bond on his out-on-bond case.
Thank you.
Do we not have the Spanish first? I have Spanish first. I can change that. That's the order I have. Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Laura Bretaña, Spanish interpreter. The interpreter has already been sworn.
Good morning. We're working on getting them back in the courtroom. I apologize. Reach you? So I don't have to unplug it? I don't know if that'll work. Okay. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. He's placing the headset on now. If you could please connect and ask if he can hear you.
There is contact, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Please tell me your name, sir.
Nombre es Jesús Gabriel Vázquez Borrero.
My name is Jesus Gabriel Vázquez Borrero.
In case 21 CF 3447AO, you're here charged with battery on a law enforcement officer, resisting an officer with violence, and resisting an officer without violence. At this time, I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. There is probable cause in this case. Your bond will be $2,500 on count 1, $150 on count 2, and $100 on count 3. You're not allowed to possess or consume alcoholic beverages or any illegal substances, and you'll be subject to random drug and alcohol screens. In 21 CF 3445AO, you're here charged with battery on a law enforcement officer. There is probable cause in that case as well. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your bond is $2,500. Again, you're not allowed to possess or consume illegal substances or alcoholic beverages, and you'll be subject to random drug and alcohol screens. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
In case 21 CF 3446AO, you're charged with battery on a law enforcement officer. There is probable cause in that case as well. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Once again, you're not allowed to possess or consume illegal substances or alcoholic beverages, and you'll be subject to random drug and alcohol screens. Are there any other conditions the state would request?
Your Honor, the state will request no firearms, weapons, or ammunition.
Thank you. You're not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. Do you understand?
On the last one?
Yes.
Do you live at 4736 South Rio Grande Avenue.
4736. Sí, el apartamento 69.
4746 apartment 69.
Is that where this took place, Counselor?
I believe, yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
All right.
Um,
All right.
Potentially a no hostile contact with,
I can't hear you.
potentially a no hostile contact with his brother.
At this time, I'll also order that you're not allowed to have any hostile contact with your brother. Do you understand what no hostile or peaceful contact means?
Sí.
Yes.
You can't raise your voice, no fighting, no arguing, nothing. You understand?
Nosotros nunca peleamos, pasa que yo bebo medicamentos desde los 5 años, yo soy paciente de salud mental, entonces yo tomo un medicamento que hay veces que como que me busca la memoria y tengo evidencia y todo eso, desde mis 5 años tomo medicamentos y hay veces que como que no sé, como que el cuerpo no hace la acción que supone que haga.
Madam Interpreter, can you please advise my client not to speak about the facts of the case here today? Everything is being recorded and everything he says can be used against him later.
Okay.
And then you still need to translate what he said.
Well, you see, the things that we don't fight. I've been taking this medication since I was 5 years old. I have mental health problems, and this medications makes me lose my memory. And I have proof of that I take this medication since I was 5 years old.
All right, that's something you'll want to speak with your attorney about. Good luck, sir.
Your Honor, and was it 2,500 on the last? Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Oh, that's the next one. Whoops. Thank you. Please tell me your name.
José Ángel Rosado Báez. José Ángel Rosado Báez.
Jose Angel Rosado Baez.
You're here in case number 21 CF 3453, charged with driving while license revoked as a habitual offender. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I do find probable cause exists. Your bond will be $2,500. Sir, you can't drive without a valid driver's license. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, good luck, sir.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Please tell me your name.
Jorge Villaverde.
Jorge Villaverde.
2018 CF 18023AO, a capias was issued for your arrest for failing to appear on a pretrial conference date on a charge of trafficking in 14 grams or more of heroin. There is no bond authorized on that capias. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Good luck, sir. Is that all the interpreter cases we have?
Yes.
Madam Interpreter, I believe that's all the cases we have for you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, sir. Do you also go by the name James Hood?
That's my slave name.
All right. In case 21MM20444AO, you're charged with trespass on property after warning. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you so that you have an attorney who's working on your behalf. There is probable cause in this case. What says the state as to bond?
Can I believe my own reconnaissance, because I don't know how Disney World got million properties. What's property at Disney World? I was at the resort one time. Spirit led me out there to tell somebody about Yahweh, God.
Your Honor, the state would just ask for a reasonable bond, given he doesn't qualify for TR.
All right. I'm going to reduce that bond to $250, but sir, you can't return back to the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. Do you understand?
Can you define Magic Kingdom? Because it's a whole bunch of resorts out there.
Right.
A whole bunch of stuff out there.
You can't return to any of Disney's resorts.
So you telling me I can't go to Lake Eola?
Lake Eola is not a Disney resort.
Disney, they say Disney property.
All right, then don't go to Lake Eola either, sir. He's not allowed to return to Walt Disney World property. Good luck, sir.
Praise Yahweh.
Don't put Lake Eola in that. Don't put Lake Eola in that. Please tell me your name.
As Gregory Stupp.
In 21MM123, you're here charged with trespass in an occupied structure or conveyance. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. There is probable cause here.
Your Honor, can we approach?
Yes. All right, thank you. Does the state have an offer in this case?
Yes, Your Honor, an adjudication, credit time served, and no return to Advent Health of Popka absent medical issue or emergency.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. George.
And I did speak with my client about the state's offer. I went through all the rights he would be giving up. And he understands and he wants to accept the state's offer today, Your Honor.
Mr. Stepp, please raise your right hand to be sworn.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you heard what your attorney just said. You can put your hand down now. Is that what you want to do here today?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand the rights that you're giving up by entering a plea today?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for me about those rights?
Yeah, I'm already out on bond, and that's not going to affect my bond, is it?
It is not at this time. I'm going to take no action on your out on bond cases.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions?
No, that's it.
All right. You understand that if you're on probation, this plea could violate that probation?
Yes.
You understand if you're not a United States citizen, this plea could subject you to deportation?
Yes.
At this time, how do you wish to plead to the charge of trespass?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea of no contest. I find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty, give you credit for 2 days in jail. I'll order that you are not allowed to return to Advent Health. Altamont, is that what it was? Apopka. Advent Health Apopka, absent a medical emergency. So if you have a medical emergency, you can still go to the emergency room. But for any other reason, you can't go there. You understand?
Yeah.
I have to order that you pay court costs in this case, and I'll give you a year to pay them. You understand?
Yes.
All right, good luck, sir. You have 30 days to appeal in writing,
All right, thank you.
and I'll take no action in the out on bond cases.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Please tell me your name.
My name is Emmanuel Bartholomew Strickland.
You're here in 21-96734. Nope, 21-MO-364. Charged with possession of an open container of alcoholic beverage.
Yes, unfortunately.
There is probable cause. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Does the state have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, a withhold credit time served.
And Your Honor, just so the court knows, I did call for each one of them. Some of them weren't brought up yet, so I wasn't able to speak to each and every one. And Mr. Strickland is one of the people I was not able to speak with.
All right, what's the reason for the withhold?
It's a city ordinance.
I believe they
And?
always offer withholds, is what it means.
If they have a lengthy criminal history, it's a lot of the same kinds of charges?
That's the, what I've been authorized from the city attorney to do on their cases, if it is a city ordinance. And he does have a prior open container, and it was rather recent. However, that's what I've been authorized to do on their behalf.
I truly am embarrassed about it. I apologize, court women. I've just missed the past 2 days of work. I'm a landscaper and I've missed.
Your Honor, if you're unwilling to accept that offer, state would just ask for an ROR.
So, Ms. George, I'll ask if you can give me a reason to withhold, given his history. Before I agree to that, I want to make sure he knows that before he enters a plea. You know what, Ms. George? I'll do it. All right, sir. The state's offered you credit time served, and they've asked the court to withhold adjudication. If you're inclined to accept that offer today, you need to understand that you're giving up certain rights, like your right to remain silent, your right to a jury trial, your right to confront the state's witnesses, your right to force the state to prove the charge beyond all reasonable doubt. If you enter a plea of guilty or no contest this morning, there will be no trial. I'll sentence you today. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you understand that?
Yeah, yes, I'll be sentenced today.
Right. If you want to enter a plea of guilty or no contest, you can also enter a plea of not guilty. You don't have to change your plea today, but if you're interested in doing that, this court is inclined to withhold adjudication and give you credit for the time that you've been in jail. Yes. Yes.
Your Honor, he understands. He wants to accept the state's offer here.
All right, so you understand the rights you're giving up?
Yes, I do.
Do you have any questions for me about those rights?
No, I do not.
You understand that if you're not a United States citizen, this plea could deport you?
Yes.
You understand if you're on probation, this plea could violate that probation?
Yes, I understand.
All right, at this time, how do you wish to plead to open container of an alcoholic beverage?
I plead guilty.
All right, I'll accept your plea of guilty. I find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll withhold adjudication. Sir, I was inclined to do that because you took responsibility for your actions, and this court appreciates that. I'll give you credit for the time that you've been in jail, which would be
2 days.
2 days. I have to order that you pay court costs, but I'll give you a year to pay them. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck, sir.
Thank you.
You have 30 days to appeal in writing. Please tell me your name.
Ryan Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, in 21 MO 365, you're here charged with unauthorized presence in an unoccupied or unfinished building. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. There is probable cause in this case. Your bond is $250. You're not allowed to have any contact with Tiffany Stone or Ashriel Dennis, you understand? And you can't return to this scene, you understand that? Then in case number 21 CF 3427AO, you're here charged with possession of methamphetamine. There is probable cause for that as well. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond will be $500. You're not allowed to possess or consume illegal substances or have contact with known drug dealers. You understand? Good luck, sir.
Your Honor, Keith Young is medical.
All right, that's case number 21 CF 3428. Burglary of an occupied structure, burglary of an unoccupied conveyance, and larceny, petty theft. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent him.
Will waive, Your Honor.
All right, there is probable cause, Counselor. His bond is $5,000 on count 1, $150 on count 2, and $100 on count 3. He's not allowed to return to the scene, have contact with any victims, witnesses, or co-defendants. And I think that's the only charge I have before me today.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Charles Conklin, refused.
21 MM 2035, possession of drug paraphernalia. I find his refusal to come to court a willing waiver of his appearance. There is probable cause in this case.
Your Honor, the state has already filed a no information. May I approach the clerk?
Yes. I'm going to take no action in his out on bond case. Please tell me your name.
Aaron Cordonas, ma'am.
Good morning. You're here in 21 MM 2050AO, charged with trespass on property after warning. Does the state have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. An adjudication, credit time served, and no return to the shell located at 455 West Oak Ridge Road.
Ms. George?
I did speak with my client, and he states that he understands all the rights he would be given up, and he wants to accept the state's offer here today.
All right, please raise your right hand, sir.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. Your attorneys told the court that you want to change your plea today. Is that true?
Yeah.
And you understand the rights you're giving up by entering a plea? You have to answer out loud.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't have to raise your hand. I just have to hear you verbally answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions for the court about the rights you're giving up? Do you understand if you're on probation, this plea could violate that probation?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand if you're not a United States citizen, this plea could deport you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. How do you wish to plead to the charge of trespass on property after warning?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea of no contest. I find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty, give you credit for
2 days.
2 days in jail. I have to order that you pay court costs. I'll give you a year to pay them.
Thank you, ma'am.
You understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck. You have 30 days to appeal in writing.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day.
Right over there. Please tell me your name.
Last name Evans, Evans. First name Charles, Charles.
Thank you. You're here in 21 MM 2048AO, charged with disorderly conduct. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Ms. George?
Yes, the state is offering a withhold of adjudication and credit time served. I did speak with my client, went over all the rights he would be given up. He understood those rights, and he would like to accept the state's offer here today.
Please raise your right hand, sir.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So help me God.
All right. Your attorney just told the court that you want to change your plea today. Is that correct?
To no contest.
Yes.
Yes.
And you understand the rights you're giving up by entering this plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions for the court about the rights?
No, ma'am.
All right. You understand that if you're on probation anywhere, this plea could violate that probation?
The first time I've ever been in jail.
You understand that if you're not a United States citizen, this plea could subject you to deportation?
No, I am a U.S. citizen.
All right. At this time, sir, how do you wish to plead to the charge of disorderly conduct?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea of no contest. I find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll withhold adjudication, give you credit for the 2 days that you've been in jail. I have to order that you pay court costs, and I'll give you a year to pay them. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck. You have 30 days to appeal in writing. Please tell me your name.
Hindi.
I'm sorry?
Muhammad Hindi.
You're here in 21 MM 205780, charged with battery. There is probable cause in this case. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your bond is $500. You're not allowed to have any contact with a victim in this case. Do you understand what no contact means?
No.
It means you can't speak to the victim, you can't call the victim, you can't send a message through a friend or family member, no contact at all. Do you understand?
Okay.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
All right. You're not allowed to return to Ember for any reason. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You're not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. You're also not allowed to have any contact with any of the witnesses in the case.
Yep.
You understand? You're not allowed to possess or consume alcoholic beverages or illegal substances. You'll be subject to random alcohol and drug screens. Are there any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
No.
Good luck, sir.
No.
What did he say his name was?
Hindi. Right. Please tell me your name.
Martin Palmetier, Jr.
21 MM 203780. You're here charged with retail petty theft. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you.
Sorry.
Go
Yes,
ahead.
Your Honor. I did speak with my client. The state is offering him an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and no return to 3101 West Princeton Street. I did go over all his rights, and he understood those rights and wanted to accept the state's offer here today.
Thank you, Counselor. There is probable cause in this case. Sir, raise your right hand, please.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, self
Yes, ma'am.
Your attorney just told the court that you want to change your plea today. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering this plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions for the court about the rights?
Nope.
You understand that petty theft is an enhanceable offense. So after you get convicted by so many times, the state can charge it as a felony. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And you still want to change your plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, at this time, how do you wish to plead to the charge of retail petty theft?
Guilty.
I can't hear you.
No contest.
No contest.
All right, I'll accept your plea of no contest. I find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll adjudicate you guilty, give you credit for the 2 days you've spent in jail. I'll order that you're not allowed to return to 3101 West Princeton Street. That's Walmart. You can't go back to Walmart. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any restitution?
No, Your Honor. All the items were recovered.
All right. Is there anything else I missed, State?
No, Your Honor.
All right, good luck. And also, sir, I show that you're a sex offender. You must maintain your sex offender reporting requirements. You understand?
Yes.
Good luck. You have 30 days to appeal in writing. Please tell me your name.
Tiffany Stone.
21MO362, you're here charged with unauthorized presence in an unoccupied or unfinished building. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office.
Your Honor, yes, the state is offering a withhold of adjudication, credit time served, and no return. Looks like it's 644 West Colonial Drive. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. And I did speak to the client. She understands the right she's giving up, and she wants to accept the state's offer here today.
Why is this a withhold?
Your Honor, this is also a city ordinance, and that's what the city has authorized me to do on their behalf.
Do they not look at the criminal history?
That's all the city's authorized me to do, Your Honor. However, if you are not inclined to accept it, the state would just ask for an ROR.
Ms. George, why should the court withhold adjudication?
Your Honor, I see She does have one that was, her last conviction was in March 8th of 2021. So I understand the court's concern here today. So we would just ask for an ROR on her case, as it's a nonviolent offense. I see 7 misdemeanors and 2 felonies, so.
Can counsel approach? All right, after the bench conference, I believe I'll accept the state's offer if she's still interested in entering a plea today. All right, ma'am, raise your right hand to be sworn.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, your attorney has informed the court that you wish to enter a plea today, is that correct?
Yes.
Sorry, you have to answer out loud because it's being recorded.
Yes, ma'am.
You understand the rights you're giving up by entering this plea?
Yes.
Do you have any questions for me about those rights?
I do not.
Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to enter this plea other than what the state's offered you?
No.
You understand if you're on probation, this plea could violate that probation?
I understand.
And I show that you were convicted less than 20 days ago of a couple of offenses, but you're not on probation for those offenses?
Right.
Okay,
Right.
I just want to make sure.
Right.
Because if you are, this could violate that.
No, I'm not.
All right, you understand if you're not a United States citizen, this plea could subject you to deportation.
I understand.
At this time, how do you wish to plead to unauthorized presence in an unoccupied or unfinished building?
No contest.
I'll accept your plea of no contest. I find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll withhold adjudication, give you credit for the 2 days that you've been in jail. I'll order that you're not allowed to return to the scene.
644 West Colonial.
And I have to order that you pay court costs. I'll give you a year to pay them.
I understand.
Good luck, ma'am. You have 30 days to appeal in writing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. George.
You're welcome. Anna, can I have a moment? Because I wasn't able to talk.
Yes, please. Ready.
Your Honor, I did speak to my client, and he's willing to accept the state's offer of a withhold credit time served and no return. I did go over all the rights he would be giving up. He understands those rights and wants to resolve the case today.
Based on his history and the facts, I'm inclined to accept the negotiated plea. Sir, raise your right hand to be sworn.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, sir, you can put your hand down. Your attorney's informed the court that you wish to enter a plea today. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you understand the rights you're giving up by entering this plea? Do you have any questions for the court about the rights?
Which rights would be given up?
Your right to remain silent, your right to testify on your own behalf, your right to have a jury trial when one is required, your right to force the state to prove the charges against you beyond all reasonable doubt, your right to confront the witnesses that the state would call and present any defenses you have. We're not going to have a trial. If you enter a plea of guilty or no contest, I will accept your plea and sentence you today. Is that what you want to do?
So if you accept my plea and sentence me today, would that mean I'd be going home, like leaving?
Yes, you'll be released.
Okay, then yes, I would say so. And then that would also mean I'm giving up those rights to a trial and everything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Once you enter that plea and I accept it, you've given up those rights.
Yes.
So there will be no jury trial in this case.
Okay.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
All right. You understand that if you're on probation, this plea could violate that probation?
Right.
And you understand if you're not a United States citizen, this plea could deport you?
Yes.
At this time, how do you wish to plead to the charge of unauthorized presence in an unoccupied or unfinished building?
I would plead guilty.
I'll accept your plea. I find it's freely and voluntarily made. I'll withhold adjudication, give you credit for the 2 days that you've been in jail. I have to order that you pay court costs. I'll give you a year to pay them. I'll further order that you're not allowed to return to 644 West Colonial Drive. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, good luck, sir. You have 30 days to appeal. Oh, is that this? All right. Please tell me your name. You're here in 21 CF 3449AO, charged with dealing in stolen property, receiving money from a pawnbroker with false verification, and retail petty theft. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I do find probable cause exists in this case. Your bond is $5,000 on count 1, $150 on count 2, and $100 on count 3. You're not allowed to return to Cash America Pawn. You understand? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. You're not allowed to have any contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
At this time, in case 20 CF 12997AO, I show that you're out on bond for burglary of a structure, dealing in stolen property, grand theft, and false verification of ownership to a pawnbroker.
Yes, ma'am. Court yesterday.
I'm inclined to revoke his bond, counselor, unless you can give me a reason not to. It's the exact same charges.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm doing good now. I started a new job, everything. This happened months ago.
I don't know what's going on in that court case, Your Honor. Do you know if they're,
I'm sorry?
do you know if they're set for trial?
It was filed on, and no, I just see that it was filed, and he had arraignment yesterday.
No, Your Honor. We would just ask that if you are inclined to revoke it, that you double the bond or set a higher bond as opposed to setting it at no bond based on his statement that he just started a new job.
Just started work.
However, I understand the court's position.
Where's your job?
I work out in Bissell where I work. Me and my buddy started our own business. And it's all Grinnell. We do tree work and handyman service now. We live off Seminole Trail.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Yes. All right, thank you. Counselors, can the state please inform the court about this defendant's prior failures to appear?
Yes, Your Honor, state's concerned regarding his failures to appear. I'm seeing 11, with the last one being in 2019. So if his bond were not to be revoked, state is concerned about his ability to reappear for court.
I think based on that and the information, sir, at this time, I'm going to revoke your bond. Your attorney will have to file a motion in front of the trial judge. Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name, sir.
Antoine Davis.
In 21 CF 3419, you're here charged with possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell and introduction of contraband into a state facility. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Ms. George, did you wish to be heard?
No, Your Honor.
Your bond is $15,000 on count one, $150 on count two. You're not allowed to possess or consume illegal substances or have contact with any known drug dealers. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
In 21 MM 2030, you're charged with trespassing. I find there's probable cause in that case as well. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your bond is $500. You're not allowed to return to 826 West Washington Street. Do you understand?
If the person that's like that's there at 826 Washington Street, if they come and tell you that I'm allowed to stay there, well, that'll be all right. I mean, like.
They can do that, but they're going to have to talk to your attorney, who's going to have to file a motion in front of the trial judge. So today, you can't return there, but if another judge changes that order, then you can.
But I can't communicate with the person that's stay there, right? Like.
Who's the person who stays there? How do you know her?
She's a girlfriend. I mean, she's something like a girlfriend. We're starting a new relationship.
Your Honor,
Yeah, you can't at this time. You can't have any contact with her and you can't return there, but your attorney can talk to her, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
On that one, 500?
On the, possession of controlled substance.
15,000?
Oh, you left it.
I left it. What says the state as to his two out on bond cases?
In regards to the 21 CF 1624, it has already been filed on. It was filed on about 2 weeks ago. And given the nature of the offenses, state would ask that they be revoked and a new bond set.
I'm going to revoke as to 21 CF 1624 and 20 CF 6897. At this time, I'm not setting a new bond. Sir, your attorney's going to have to file a motion in front of the trial judge about those as well. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm overweight, and last time I was in here, I tested, when they just gave me that bond, I tested positive for coronavirus when, like, having people being in here, like, it's life-threatening for me to be in here. Like, my charges don't carry no PBL charges. Like, I caught coronavirus. I couldn't even taste, I couldn't even smell for me being incarcerated, just on them last offense that you just, and they had to fight, I had to fight, and they did give me a bond, so they seen, I had an argument statement. I mean, I caught some new charges, yeah, I got a problem with cannabis, yeah, I had that, you know what I'm saying, it's whatever. And, just a misdemeanor charge, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel like.
So the trespass is a misdemeanor charge, but the possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell is a secondary felony.
Both of them.
But here's what, your attorney can file a motion in front of the trial judge. So I'm just revoking your bond at this time because you were arrested on new crimes, but and the other judge who will be seeing your cases can give you
a quarantine when people that got coronavirus, you know? I be don't call coronavirus, but by the time I get the chance to see the judge again, well, my lawyer that fought for last time, I got shot in my chest, I got one lung. I been on call coronavirus, you know, and then spread the academic all over here and killed the staff and all type of stuff. It's like.
I understand. Your attorney can include all of that in their motion, sir.
All
Good
right.
luck.
Thank you.
Please tell me your name.
Michael Garrett.
You're here because a capias was issued for your arrest in 20 CF 14618AO for failing to appear for arraignment on charges of possession of utilone and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's no bond authorized on that capias. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Good luck, sir.
Do you know when would I be able to go to the regular judge?
I don't, but they have regular docket hearings now, so you'll be seen, I'm sure, in the next several weeks.
Several weeks?
Yes, sir.
You gonna take that long?
But your attorney can file a motion, a bond motion, and get in front of that judge,
Who's my attorney?
the public defender's office.
Call that number.
So call the number that's on the paper. Good luck. Please tell me your name.
Janeria Green.
You're here in 21 CF 3466, charged with possession of oxycodone. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. There is probable cause in this case. Your bond is $2,500. You're not allowed to possess or consume illegal substances, have contact with any known drug dealers, and you're also not allowed to have contact with Jamar Wynn. Do you understand?
Okay.
All right, good luck, ma'am. Yes. Please tell me your name.
Eugene Harris.
You're here because a warrant was issued for your arrest in 21 CF 2773, charging you with burglary of a dwelling with assault or battery and petty theft. At this time, you'll be held with no bond on count 1, as that's a punishable by life offense. Your bond on count 2 is $100. You're not allowed to return to the scene. You're not allowed to have any contact with the victim or any witnesses in the case. You're not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. Are there any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
You understand, even while you're in custody, sir, you can't have any contact with the victim. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck, sir. That's Eugene. Thank you. This is 21 CF 3458. Counsel, I'm going to appoint your office to represent him. It's a trafficking.
Yes, Your Honor, we'll waive, Your Honor.
All right, his bond is $50,000. There is probable cause. And then on count 2, it's going to be $150. He's not allowed to possess or consume illegal substances or have contact with any known drug dealers. I show that he's out on bond in 18 MM 937 AW. I'm going to revoke that.
Are you showing that we're on appointed? It says no PD.
Oh, no.
Let me check 1 second.
I just, if you could just appoint us, because on this sheet is showing no PD, so I just want to make sure we're appointed since he's being held at no bond on that.
Yes, I'll appoint the public defender's office. Thank you, counselor.
It was a return to state, so I don't think you guys ever were.
Okay, perfect.
Please tell me your name.
Heather Essex.
Thank you. This is 21 CF 3448. You're here charged with possession of heroin and possession of cocaine. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. There is probable cause in this case. Ms. George, did you wish to be heard?
Your Honor, we would just ask that, I don't know. Oh, she has an active warrant. Oh, never mind. I was wondering why she didn't qualify for pretrial release, but it's showing a warrant on the back.
All right, your bond will be $1,000 on count 1, $150 on count 2. You're not allowed to possess or consume any illegal substances or have contact with any known drug dealers. Do you understand? Yes. Good luck. Please tell me your name. I'm sorry, one more time?
Tamika Johnson.
This is 21 CF 3452AO. You're here charged with aggravated battery. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. There is probable cause. Your bond is $3,500. You're not allowed to have any contact with the victim. Do you understand what no contact means? You can't call her on the phone, send a message to a friend or family member. You can't contact her through social media. No contact at all. You're not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition. You're not allowed to return to the Walgreens located at 5185 North Lane. Are there any other conditions the state would request?
Alcohol, Your Honor.
No alcohol. You're not allowed to possess or consume alcoholic beverages, and you'll be subject to random screens. Do you understand? You have to answer out loud.
Yes.
Thank you. Good luck, ma'am.
Rocky Johnson, bond, or Jackson.
Thank you. I was going to ask you about him.
Junior forfeit.
Okay. So that last one bonded out. That's why we skipped him. Yes. All right. Next is 21 CF 3432. Mr. Jorge Jr. is charged with 2 counts of aggravated battery. So Counselor, I'm going to appoint your office to represent him.
We'll waive, Your Honor.
Thank you. His bond is $3,500 on count 1, $150 on count 2. He's not allowed to have any contact with the victim or any witnesses in the case. He's not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm or ammunition.
Your Honor, I'd also ask that he not return to that exit ramp, as that is where the victims, I believe, sleep.
All right, I'll order that he's not allowed to return to the bridge at Colonial Drive and I-4, that intersection. All right. Mental health. Please tell me your name.
Tamar Slamkin.
You're here in 20 CF 12927. A KPS was issued for your arrest for failing to appear for arraignment on a charge of petty theft with 2 prior convictions. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. There is no bond authorized on that KPS. Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Miguel Martinez.
In case number, well, first you have a warrant out of Polk County, 21-21940. There's no bond authorized on that warrant for trafficking in amphetamines and conspiracy to traffic in amphetamines, no bond. Possession, I don't understand this. It's a possession of controlled substance, no bond, and possession of drug paraphernalia, no bond. We'll notify Polk County that you're here. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. But I don't think you'll be transported because you also have charges here in Orange County. In 19 CF 7604, a KPS was issued for your arrest for failing to appear for a motion on trafficking in methamphetamine, 14 grams or more, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There is no bond authorized on that KPS. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. As to case number 21 CF 3426AO, you're here because you were arrested on a charge of escape. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Ms. George, did you review this probable cause affidavit?
I did, Your Honor.
Do you have any
Can't recall
emotions,
it.
or maybe the state can help me understand where
Yeah.
the escape is?
Yes, Your Honor. When I first read it, it seemed like a resisting without. However, I did pull the attempted escape jury instruction that goes off of the escape statute, the 944.40. For an attempted escape, the state just has to prove that, one, the defendant was a prisoner, either under arrest, convicted, being transported to or from a place of confinement, or released, or in like a work camp. So in this, for at least the first count, he was a prisoner under arrest. And then for the second, we had to prove that the defendant escaped, attempted to escape, willfully failed to return to a place of confinement, or willfully failed to remain in confinement. Here, he attempted to escape by pulling away and attempting to run. So according to the jury instruction, I do believe there is PC for the escape charge, even given that it seems very close to a resisting without.
And Your Honor, I believe we had a case similar to this. From my reading of the statute, I thought this was if they were a prisoner or inmate, and they tried to escape from a police officer. And I'm gonna pull that back up, statute.
Or being transported to or from a place of confinement.
Right, a jail is what, a jail or facility.
Right.
Your Honor, in this case, I believe there is a resisting, an officer without violence, but not an escape, as he was not in any type of jail, prison, being transported to or from.
Your Honor, regarding, hold on one second, let me ask you a question. What's the statute for resisting without?
It is,
Anyone know that off the top of their head?
I used to.
I used to as well. Not now. 843? Is it 843? Ooh, maybe I do remember it.
84302?
Oh, you do.
All right.
Given the argument counsel just made regarding being transported to or from a place of confinement, for the first prong, we have to just prove he was, one of the ways we can prove that he was a prisoner is under arrest, which I would argue that he was under arrest. The officer did tell him he was under arrest and why, but in regards to the being transported to or from a place of confinement, I'd argue that he was being transported to the vehicle, which is a place of confinement, which for Miranda, he's under arrest and not able to leave.
Well, I mean, I think he's going to be transported to the jail, right? So I think we have the transported part. I'm still stuck on the attempting to resist
Your Honor, and I would just.
versus resisting without. Ms. George,
I would just argue that when I read the statute 944.40, it says any prisoner confined in or released on furlough from any jail, prison, private correction facility, road camp, or penal institution. And here he was not yet, he was being arrested, but he was not yet in jail, in prison, in a correctional facility, on a road camp or penal institution.
but I think, so to read the statute, I think the way that it would have to be read for a charge like this, I think you skip from, you start with any prisoner confined in, comma, skip all of that language until, or being transported to or from a place of confinement. Because you don't need any of that other language for purposes of this.
Regarding the
So he's being transported to or from the jail.
regarding that,
Hold on. I think we're there.
Okay.
I think that part, there's probable cause. Where the court is right now is who escapes or attempts to escape from such confinement is versus resisting an officer without violence. That's what I'm trying to understand now. How do we have probable cause? I'm looking at the probable cause affidavit.
Oh.
And it says he,
attempted to physically pull away from me.
right, he attempted to physically pull away and run from me in an attempt to escape custody.
Which is a resisting, Your Honor, without violence.
Is it resisting without violence before they're placed in custody?
Yes.
So once he's confined, once he's handcuffed and being transported to the jail, is he resisting or is he escaping? Is that the distinction? You understand my question?
I do, Your Honor. That's what I was thinking.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm being clear with what I'm asking.
I'm just relying on the jury instruction.
Read to me the part about, not the transporting, I got that.
That's
The next
prong
part.
one, is the transporting or under arrest. Prong two is the defendant, A, escaped, B, attempted to escape by doing whatever they did, C, willfully failed to return to his or her place of confinement within the time prescribed, which isn't for this case, or D, willfully failed to remain within the extended limits of his or her confinement, intending to avoid confinement. So the second prong doesn't, it's pretty bare, just the defendant attempted to escape by. Yeah, just very bare bones, is what the instruction says.
I think by the thinnest margin, there is probable cause because attempted escape is part of the statute. So he didn't have to actually break free.
Yes, it's the proof.
The fact that he tried to break free, I think, is sufficient for probable cause.
Yes, Your Honor, because I see it. I believe it was because he was already under arrest.
Right, all right. Well, thank you both. I appreciate your arguments. So I do find there's probable cause for this charge. Because of the charge, you'll be held at no bond for this. So your attorney will have to file a bond motion in front of the trial judge. You understand?
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
since he didn't escape, it would just be labeled as an attempted escape?
I think it's the same charge.
Okay.
Because the statute says either escapes or attempts to.
Okay.
So I don't think it knocks it down, and I think because of the type of charge, it has to be no bond.
Your Honor, according to my document, since it's only a secondary felony, it comes in no bond unless otherwise set by the judge, is the document that I have. I don't know if you're willing to set a bond in this case.
I don't think it has to do with the level felony it is. I think escapes are no bond.
Okay.
Am I wrong, Ms. George?
I didn't know it was gonna be no bond, Your Honor. However, I believe is he already being held at no bond?
I think if they have escaped or attempted to escape, they are held at no
He
bond.
has already held no bond on the failure to appear.
At this point, Your Honor,
Okay.
we have to set a hearing anyway.
Make sure your office sets a hearing soon.
Yeah, sure.
All right, good luck, sir.
Austin Mills, review, Your Honor.
All right, 21 CF 2785 is a warrant for his arrest for not maintaining his sex offender reporting requirements. I'm going to appoint your office, Ms. George.
Will waive, Your Honor.
His bond is $2,500. He must register within 72 hours of release. Then in 21 CF 2575, it's another warrant for the exact same charge. I'm going to appoint your office.
Will waive, Your Honor.
His bond will be $2,500, must register within 72 hours of release. However, I'm going to revoke his bond in all three of his out on bond cases. So I'll be sure your office is appointed in each of those cases.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Owens, bonded. Mr. Perkins, bonded.
I don't have that one.
Adam Phillips, review.
A warrant was issued for his arrest in case number 21 CF 3433, charging him with burglary of a structure, criminal mischief, and petty theft. I'll appoint your office.
Will waive, Your Honor.
Okay, I find his refusal a willing waiver of his appearance. His bond is $3,500 on count 1, $100 on counts 2 and 3 each. He's not allowed to have any contact with the victims or return to the scene. He's not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition.
Ricardo Pollock, bonded.
All right, give me one moment.
Kari, bonded?
Please tell me your name.
Tristan Robinson.
Hold on one second. I don't know who that is. That name doesn't ring a bell. I gave him a bond on that one. Is it two different case numbers? Oh, it is. I thought it was the same case number. Hold on, we've got to go back to Adam Phillips. Ms. George, he has another case. I thought it was the same case number, but it's different by one digit. He refused to come to court. I'm appointing your office. It's 3433
Okay. Will waive, Your Honor.
and 3430. Both warrants are for the exact same charges, burglary of a structure, criminal mischief, and petty theft. His bonds are $3,500 on counts 1 on each case and $100 on 2 and 3 on each case. And all of the same conditions apply. Thank you. All right, tell me your name, sir.
My name is Tristan Robinson.
You're here because a warrant was issued for your arrest in case number 21 CF 158180, charging you with battery, robbery, grand theft of a motor vehicle, and fleeing or attempting to elude a police officer. Your bond is $500 on count 1, $5,000 on count 2 and 3, and $7,500 on count 4. You're not allowed to have any contact with the victim. You're not allowed to return to the scene of the crime. Do you understand?
Yes, but is there any way I can get the bond lowered?
Not today. I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you, and they can file a bond motion. You're also not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck. Please tell me your name.
My name is Angel Sierra Perez.
Sir, you're here because a warrant was issued for your arrest in case number 20 CF 15238, charging you with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Your bond is $5,000. You're not allowed to have any contact with the victim. Do you understand what no contact means?
Yes, ma'am.
You can't contact them through social media or send a message through a friend, no contact at all. You're not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. You're also not allowed to return to the scene of the crime. Do you understand?
I understand, ma'am.
Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name. You're here charged with aggravated assault with a firearm in case number 21 CF 3416. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, in this case, I know it came in as an aggravated assault with a firearm. I do believe you just found probable cause for it. State will be asking for a higher bond given the facts of the case, that it may later be charged as an attempted murder.
I had the same question.
So we just ask that you hold him at a higher bond given the potential charges.
And, Your Honor, I would just ask that, understanding the court's position and the state's position, that you take into account that his criminal history, he only has one felony, and then it looks like a possession of a controlled substance when determining the bond amount, Your Honor.
Thank you, Counselor. I'm just looking at the facts of the case. That are contained within the probable cause affidavit.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand. I just wanted to bring attention to that as well.
I appreciate that, Counselor. At this time, your bond is $50,000. You're not allowed to have contact with any of the victims or witnesses in the case. Do you understand what no contact means? You can't contact them through social media or send a message through a friend. You understand? You're not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. Where do you live?
I stay with my baby mom.
I don't know where that is.
I think I know it's in Beacon Hills.
I can't hear you.
It's in Beacon Hills. I don't remember the address.
Could you hear him? I couldn't hear
He
him.
said it's in Beacon Hill. He doesn't remember the address. He stays with his.
All right, so you're not allowed to return to 2810 West Concord Street. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any other conditions the state would request?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Cody Withero.
You're here because a capias was issued for your arrest in 20 CF 12054. There's no bond authorized on that capias, charging you with failing to appear for arraignment on a charge of failure of a sex offender to report to the sheriff's office during birth month and during the 6 month after birth month. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Good luck, sir.
Is there any way I can take care of this today?
No, sir. There's not. Good luck.
That was no bond, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
White is mental health.
21 CF 3457, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, battery on a law enforcement officer, 2 counts. Ms. George, I'm going to appoint your office to represent him.
We'll waive, Your Honor.
There is probable cause in this case. His bond will be $5,000 on count 1, $2,500 on counts 2 and 3. He's not allowed to have any contact with any of the victims or witnesses in the case. He's not allowed to return to the scene. He's not allowed to possess a weapon of any kind, firearm, or ammunition. He's not allowed to possess or consume alcohol or illegal substances. Are there any other conditions the state would request?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Please tell me your name.
Timothy Zimmerman.
capias was issued for your arrest in 21 CF 535, charging you with petty theft, 2 prior convictions. The bond authorized on that is $2,500. You're not allowed to have any contact with the victim, any co-defendants or witnesses in the case. You're not allowed to return to the scene of the offense. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Good luck, sir. Sorry. Please tell me your name.
Jennifer Duncan.
All right, you're here because several warrants were issued for your arrest. In case number 18 CF 8608 BO, a warrant was issued for your arrest for violating your probation by failing to live and remain at liberty without violating any law, by committing the criminal offense of scheme to defraud. There is no bond authorized on that warrant, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. 2018 CF 1547, you're here because a warrant was issued for your arrest for violating your probation in that you failed to live and remain at liberty without violating any law by committing the offense of scheme to defraud. There is no bond authorized on that warrant, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. 18 CF 3032, another warrant was issued for your arrest for violating that probation, again by failing to live and remain at liberty without violating any new laws by committing a scheme to defraud. There is no bond authorized on that warrant, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. 2017 CF 10396, a warrant was issued for your arrest for violating your probation, again by failing to live and remain at liberty without violating any law by committing the offense of scheme to defraud. There is no bond authorized on that warrant either, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. In 20 CF 14753 BO, a capias was issued for your arrest for failing to appear at arraignment on a charge of grand theft, dealing in stolen property, possession of methamphetamine, and 4 counts of petty theft with 2 prior convictions. Your bond authorized on that capias is $5,000 on count 1, $1,000 on count 2, I'm sorry, these counts are out of order. I'm going to read it how it is in the capias. So count 1 is 5,000, count 6 is 1,000, count 7 is 100, count 8, 9, 10, and 11 are each $10,000. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in that as well. I think that's all of the cases. It is? Okay, thank you. Good luck, ma'am. Just a moment. Please tell me your name.
Rodolfo Garcia, Jr.
You're here because a warrant was issued for your arrest in case number 19 CF 10363 AO for violating your probation by failing to start treatment as required by your probation officer. There is no bond authorized on this. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I also show that you're a sex offender or sexual predator. You must maintain those reporting requirements when you get out. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Sam Green.
You're here because a warrant was issued for your arrest in case number 16 CF 7060 for violating your probation by failing to live and remain at liberty without violating any law by committing the criminal offense of grand theft and by leaving your county of residence without getting the permission of your probation officer and by associating with people engaged in criminal activity. There's no bond authorized on that warrant. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. In 2018 CF 249, a warrant was issued for your arrest for violating your probation, again, for committing a new offense of grand theft, leaving your county of residence without permission, and associating with a person involved in criminal activity. There's no bond on that warrant as well, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. In 16 CF 6302, a warrant was issued for your arrest for violating your probation by committing the offense of grand theft, leaving your county of residence without getting your probation officer's permission, and associating with any person engaged in criminal activity. There's no bond authorized on that warrant as well, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Good luck, sir.
I already got an attorney on that.
I'm sorry, get closer.
I've been fighting this case for 17 months in Osceola County. I never been on the streets, and I already got a lawyer on this case.
You have an attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Who's your attorney?
I can't remember his name right now, but I think it's Jamie something.
All right, here's what'll happen. I'm gonna leave the public defender appointed, but if your attorney files a notice of appearance to represent you, we'll take the public defender off your case,
Okay.
okay? It's an easy thing to do. Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Timothy Shimko. Thomas Lee Carlin.
You're here because a warrant was issued for your arrest out of Volusia County for petty theft and battery domestic violence. There is no bond authorized on that. We'll let them know that you're here so they can transport you, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Oh, wait, that's the wrong person. Hold on. You're here because a warrant was issued for your arrest in case number 20 CF 9042 for violating your probation by committing a new law violation of aggravated battery and trespass on property after warning. There's no bond authorized, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. This is Timothy Shimko. And I had another guy clipped to him. I don't know how that happened, but it was just a paper clip. Enoveso. He's the one with the out-of-county warrant from Volusia. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office.
Will waive, Your Honor.
There's no bond on his warrant. In 159783 MM, we'll notify them and appoint the public defender. Please tell me your name. You're here because a warrant was issued for your arrest by the Hamilton County Sheriff in 19154 CT for failing to appear unknowingly operating a motor vehicle while license suspended. Your bond is $500. It's a cash bond only. So we'll notify them that you're here, but since you have a bond, if you're able to post it, you can bond out. Good luck, sir. Please tell me your name.
Lormius.
Okay. You're here because a warrant was issued for your arrest in case number 18005876 CF out of Palm Beach County. The warrant is for failing to appear on charges of robbery with a deadly weapon, 2 counts, burglary of a structure with assault or battery, 2 counts. There's no bond authorized on this warrant. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and we'll notify them that you're here.
Have a moment, Your Honor.
Fan got it? Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, sir. Ms. George, anything else before court adjourns?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we are back on the record. It's 12:42, March 25th, 2021. I understand we have a witness who wishes to be heard in a case. This is State of Florida versus Rodolfo Garcia, 19 CF 10363. Ma'am, do you wish to testify today?
Oh, I don't know. I was just wondering if y'all could reinstate his bond today.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand you.
I don't know.
Get close to the microphone, please. I'm sorry, what's your name, ma'am?
Cassidy Burns, I guess.
And how do you know Rodolfo Garcia?
He's my husband.
All right, let me explain to you what's happening today. A warrant was issued for his arrest for violating his probation. The judge who issued that warrant authorized no bond. So today, there will be no bond.
Okay.
His attorney will have to file a motion in front of the trial judge who signed this warrant to get that changed.
Okay.
Well, ma'am, the thing about it is.
I wouldn't talk about the facts. I would.
Oh, no, it's not no fact. Is that I wanted to see if I can get my bond reinstated because my wife, she's sick. She has the heart pacer in her, and I'm the one that takes care of her. I work, I do everything for her.
This is another judge's warrant. I didn't issue the warrant, so I cannot change it today.
Okay, that's.
Only the judge who signed the warrant can change it.
And what about if I decide to settle it now and today?